Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Smackdown review. This show is like just as good as Raw, if not worse. A very strange ending that I didn't expect. We started off with something that was alright. We had Jinder celebration. Is it just me, or I agree with Jinder? I was kind of getting down to the drum beats in a way. I do actually like some of the Indian music. It sounds pretty good. I like that percussive, dance rhythm to it. Um, we had, Nakamurphy come out, and I couldn't even, I'm not even trying to be funny here. Usually I would say a little something about Nakamurphy not speaking English, and I'll start riling up the marks. But here I gotta be honest. He said something about peace, and I did not fucking understand what the man was trying to say. So I look on PW Torch, wanting to see what Wade Keller thinks about this, and he said that the Japanese people prayed for peace. What the fuck was the point of all that? Why is he saying that? Anyway, you have Keller, and he also put up a poll on PW Torch about this. Guys, Wade Keller has entered full snowflake mode. I mean, my fucking God, I've never thought that I'd see the day when Wade Keller would just complete. I always thought that Wade Keller was probably a pansy ass liberal. But now it is confirmed that he is far beyond that, because he actually has a problem with this segment, with the nature of this segment. And thing is, like, okay, what's the nature of this segment? He has a problem with Jinder Mahal being Indian and that the crowd was booing him. So this is the problem here that he's having with it. He thinks, in spite of the Charlottesville riots, those events, that they shouldn't have the crowd booing a foreigner. That's wrong. So they should just do away with this, completely scrap the main event, and bring in, a white guy and just put the belt on him, I guess, right? So this should have been John Cena, just to avoid anybody getting their feelings hurt. Are you fucking serious, Keller? He's actually saying this is in poor taste. You didn't have a problem. You didn't think it was in poor taste when John Cena got tossed on his fucking neck by a foreigner. But now it's okay, for that. That's all fine and well. But now you have a problem because of foreigners getting booed. You talk about how you don't like Jinder. He's not ready for the big time. Jinder's a bad wrestler. He doesn't deserve the spot. All this nonsense. He's on steroids. Keller's been spouting this bullshit for months. Now all of a sudden, oh, it's offensive in light of current events. Who the fuck gives a fucking shit? Do you think anybody really cares? Unless you're like the ultimate snowflake or a member of Antifa. Do you really think anybody is going to care about this shit? They're booing him because he's a fucking heel, not because he's just a foreigner. That's part of the gimmick. Yes, they are going with that because we're in the U.S. and he's making like it's India. But who cares? Who cares if they're booing him for his arrogance of being a heel, or booing him whether he's... We have freedom of speech. And plus, it's a fake-ass wrestling event. This isn't really happening. It's not like these... Well, I hope not that these people don't really hate him. He's playing a character. Ever since silent movies, or ever since, plays, stage shows, people have been hissing at villains and cheering the heroes. It's not like something that was developed out of racism because of current events. Is Keller... I mean, this guy always says some goofball shit every single week, spouting shit on his podcast, spouting shit on, the PW Torch newsletters, and in his reviews and his reports and his analysis. It's enough is enough already. Meltzer Magoo sounds enough like a jackass, but you also have Wade Keller over here going into full snowflake mode because some people want to boo a wrestling heel. You can't be fucking serious here. I'm sorry, I forgot to put on my YWC championship, but this shit, it just annoyed me. I mean, this guy now all of a sudden, nobody cared about politics, until Trump started running for the presidency. And now all of a sudden, everybody wants to get up in arms and everybody wants to be a white knight. Everybody wants to, virtue signal and shit like that. And the thing is, what I have to say is keep that shit the fuck out of wrestling already. It's not in wrestling, but you see that all of these snowflakes, it's so funny. These are the ones that have the problems with the manly wrestlers, that the wrestlers that actually have good bodies and stuff. They don't want those guys, because those are the macho guys, and they don't want that. They want the skinny, frail, cucky wrestlers like fuckboy Balor. They should do that. Have an interview with Cucky Balor. Maybe, guys, let's do a poll right here like Wade Keller did on PW Torch. What should I call Finn Balor? Should I call him Fuckboy Balor or should I call him Cucky Balor? Because I guarantee you if you interviewed that guy about his politics, he'd probably start rooting for Antifa or some shit. I mean, let's be fucking honest. I never thought I'd live to see the day when we'd have politics and wrestling cross paths. I thought the closest we'd ever get was a debate on the Iraq War with Scott Steiner and Triple H. But apparently, it's gone beyond that. And all the goofball wrestling journalists, that's what's so funny. The wrestling journalists are acting like the fake news journalists. Wade Keller is the Wolf Blitzer of the wrestling world, right? Or maybe, the Jake Tapper of the wrestling world. I mean, you've got fake wrestling news and you've got fake political news, and they're all under one big roof apparently now. What this is turning into an absolute fucking circus. They think that at least those guys are actually journalists. Like they actually have an official role. At least, Wolf Blitzer, as moronic as he is, at least he's on CNN. He has a real job. Wade Keller just kind of christened himself a journalist, and and there you went from that point on. So there you go with that. So there was no interaction with with the Kenzo Suzuki wannabe Nakamurphy. He said some shit. It didn't even make sense. I mean, this is the thing right here. How far can you go with a guy who could barely even say? He said 2 lines. And obviously they were scripted lines. And you can't even understand him. Before you sent this guy out to be your big main eventer, even if it is just to please all the marks out there, can they at least make sure that this guy could speak clearly? I mean, you're putting this on the USA Network in prime time on a Tuesday night. And you're supposed to understand this guy. You're supposed to understand the promo. And what I'm not getting is how could anybody enjoy this show when they can't even understand what the guy's saying? This is the big star. This is the guy who wants to go for the world championship, and you can't even understand him. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Up next, you had Natalya defeating Becky Lynch. After the match, Naomi was there. Cameron came out with old what's his name, the no chin guy, who I actually started liking. They threatened her that whoever wins the match is going to end up the loser because Cameron might cash in. Not enough Cameron on these past Smackdowns. I would have liked to see a bit more of her, with the promos. But she's kind of been MIA lately, even though Ellsworth is his name. That's no chin. Ellsworth came back last week. There wasn't enough follow-up on that. You would think you'd see a bit more of Ellsworth. He only said 2 lines this week. Tamina was backstage with Lana. And finally, they have come up with something. I don't know if this is what they originally planned here, to have Lana kind of treat Tamina like Rusev, but I like it. It's a good idea. You know, Tamina does look like she could be a monster. She should, you know, this is the thing. Tamina on SmackDown and Nia Jax on Raw, they should be dominating their divisions. They both should have the belts. Yes, Bliss is a good champion, you know, but Nia Jax should be at least dominating a portion of that division, not constantly tapping out. Same thing goes for Tamina, but thankfully they're going to try to do something with her here now. You know, in all honesty, they're probably going to end up ruining it in the end, because that's what they do with everything. But, you know, I don't know where they were going with this. First, it was Tamina supposedly mentoring Lana to be a better wrestler. Then they just gave up on that. Then they said something else. And now they're going with Lana being the manager for Tamina. So what the fuck was the point of having Lana wrestle and all that? That's what I'm saying. I think they don't even know what they were planning to do. This just kind of happened. This is probably for the best. You get Lana, you get Tamina probably dominating. You know, as long as they don't do some stupid ass, you know, even Stevens booking, they should go with it. She could be the queen of the division. Rusev beat the crap out of Chad Gable. You know, it's so funny with Chad Gable that Jason Jordan is the one who got elevated, and now we just see Gable just getting his ass kicked on you know, on a weekly basis. You know, and then they got counted out or something, or disqualified. I don't know what happened. Orton comes in and there's the RKO. No promo, no follow up with Orton or Rusev, no backstage brawl. That's what we're going with. So we had Rusev just appearing at the end of the show last week. Orton appears in the middle of the show, one move apiece. No promos, nothing else. That's it. We just get to see these guys for 1 second apiece, basically. You know, Rusev does his thing, Orton returns the favor, then we go on to SummerSlam. Like, can you book this shit any more boring or uneventful? I mean, that's it, and now we're supposed to be excited about the match. Are you excited? I know I'm not. We had another, like, boring segment with Shane, Owens, and AJ. There was a timing problem with Owens. He came out too late. You know, whatever. Anyway, who cares at this point? So Owens goes for the super kick. You know, AJ ducks it, hits Shane. Shane lays on the mat like a goofball. No retaliation. Didn't we see this last week with the Pele kick? So AJ hit Shane by accident, and then like clockwork, Owens hits him by accident. So now you have, you know, so now it's even. See, this is the thing. It's like so by the numbers. You know, why do they have to book it in such a way where it almost looks like they entered it into a computer so everything's all evened out? It's so boring and predictable. And it's like, it really is. It's like connect the dots, a style of writing and booking and creative. You know, the whole point in creative is to be creative. You know, not just make everything like a damn coloring book. Connect the dots. You know, they're making it like so elementary that even a kindergartner could like come up with these ideas. Okay, so 1 week he hits Shane, then the other guy hits him the next week, and that's it. And Shane's not even like getting riled up. Shane is taller than both of these guys. You know, okay, I was thinking of saying maybe he weighs more, but obviously the fat ass Owens weighs more than him. But you know, Shane is the more physically fit of all of them, so he could kick all their asses. Basically, we've seen him wrestle in the past. He took AJ to the limit at WrestleMania. So why is he laying on the mat like a goofball? Wouldn't he be annoyed that he got hit 2 weeks in a row? He's just going to stay on the mat and stare at him like an idiot? I don't understand this style of booking. Like, if someone got hit, you know, even if it was on a TV show, they'd get mad and they'd start punching the other guy. The Usos defeated New Day. You know, so this is the way that they like to handle business. They like to have the match before having the match at the pay-per-view. And what the hell is the point of that? How are we going to be excited for the match at SummerSlam when you just gave us the match? Oh boy, I can't wait to watch it again. Like, are you kidding? Then in the main event, we had the most interesting thing happen on the show. You had Cena hitting the AA from the second rope on Jinder. Corbin runs in. Corbin, you know, knocks Cena out of the way. And then then he's like he wants to cash in. So, you know, he hits him with the briefcase. He walks away, then he comes back, and he actually cashes in the briefcase. Actually cashes it in. This is the big moment. Cena gets up on the apron. Baron knocks him out of the way. Then Jinder rolls him up. So Cena cost him. You know, this is an interesting element going into SummerSlam. But the announcers sold it so poorly in the way how they went off the air with it. Like, I will say, that's not a bad angle. Not everybody who has the money in the bank has to win the belt. So it makes sense. You know, even Cena failed to cash in. So it really, you know, it's not a bad thing. People are complaining. You know, you guys know I've put over Corbin in the past. I like Corbin. I think he does have the potential to be a big player. You know, of course, it doesn't help that he's having trouble, you know, with guys like Nakamurphy, who he should be easily disposing of. But, you know, this is an interesting element. It's just, it seemed very rushed. It wasn't put over properly. Like, this is a good way of getting heat between these guys because he just cost them a world title opportunity. But, you know, it ended up falling flat. Like, it's a good way to end the show for a big match. Once again, I'm having problems, you know, understanding this. Like, where's Nakamurphy when all this is going on? You know, you could have had him do commentary, but, oh, that's right, he don't fucking speak English. So, you know, you have all this going on for the belt, and the guy who's actually wrestling for the belt isn't even there. So you had Jinder basically beating Corbin. You know, it's, you know, so there you go. So now we beat Corbin, and it's not even like now they already had that match, so it's not even like anybody wants to see it anymore. It's just, it's really, really messy booking when you make it out to look that way. You could have had Nakamurphy get involved to, you know, build some heat, but now the heat is just on Corbin and Cena. You know, there's no heat with Jinder and Nakamurphy, so it's like you have a very cold match. You know, it's just you know, Nakamurphy, who barely even said anything that made any sense to Jinder at the beginning of the show. We pray for peace in Japan. Like, okay, so what does that have to do with the rivalry? Go pray for your peace in Japan, and while you're over there, learn some fucking English so I can enjoy the promo. Jinder's doing his part. I can understand him fine. I'm being entertained by Jinder, but this goofball comes out, and I can't understand a single thing the motherfucker's saying. Well, there you go, folks. There's your review of the show. Was it better than Raw? Not really. I mean, there was some chaos at the end. I like that style. You know, of course, Keller will say, it's overbooked. You know, I never understood that term. You know, let's talk. Let's talk about that in another video. Terms that Marks like to use. Scott Keith and Keller, overbooked. You know, you have a classic match, one of my favorite matches of all time, The Rock and Triple H at Backlash 2001 with 2000 rather, with Stone Cold interfering, you know, and the McMahons getting involved. And they like to say that match was overbooked. When you have a match that's, what does it mean to overbook? The more that happens during a match, the more exciting it is, the better it is in my book. So, you know, if you don't like eventful wrestling, then the WWE probably isn't for you. You should probably go watch some New Japan where it's just two guys wrestling. We don't want to ruin it because this is a serious sport. Get the hell out of here. This new direction of wrestling and what you goofballs want out of it, I don't want any part of it. You know, we're not even allowed to have heat or controversy in wrestling because it might offend people in their political opinions. I just, seriously, guys, I cannot even believe that Keller played that card when he wrote his Raw review, actually saying that they shouldn't do the angle with him being from India. I mean, the guy has Indian heritage. He's not from there, he's from Canada. But the thing is, his family is. So what? He's not allowed to be proud and have that as his gimmick because it might make people racist by booing him. What the hell is that shit? I, I mean, Keller should be ashamed of himself for even bringing that up. His job is to report on wrestling, not put his fucking political opinions all over his article. Look, what a great person I am because I don't believe in racism. Nobody asked for your political opinion. The goofball marks just want to hear what you have to say about the wrestling. The moves were really crisp. But instead of saying that, you're talking about how this might offend people who, you know, are still upset over Charlottesville. You know, give me a fucking break. I mean, I'm offended by you acting like a fucking snowflake and trying to influence your readers and listeners with your stupid cucky views. Get the hell out of here. Not only are you annoying when it comes to your wrestling opinions and being overbearing and making people feel stupid if they want sports entertainment. But now you're trying to tell people that they shouldn't like traditional heel and baby face roles, you know, and they should feel bad because they shouldn't be supporting these racist feuds. Get the fuck out of here, Keller. What a loser you are. For God's sakes, have some self-respect for yourself. You know, if you're going to go out there and put an article out for the public, at least try to sound somewhat intelligent. You know, wrestling fans are, you know, well, they used to be adrenaline-fueled, manly guys. They just wanted to see some action. They wanted to see some, you know, macho guys getting together, trash talking with their characters and tough personalities that reflected their own. So they didn't want to see guys like Cucky Fuckboy Balor. Let me know about the nickname, which one you want, or I could use both maybe. You know, they didn't want that. That's what you want. Keller, your idea of wrestling is something that nobody else besides the most pathetic members of the YWC want. And you're going to get a good majority to agree with you. Because most people who enjoyed that previous style of wrestling that was so popular are no longer watching the product. So now you're just capitalizing off of the popularity that's left over for, you know, the leftover fans, which are the most pathetic ones. Well, there you go, motherfuckers. I've had enough of Wade Keller. I've had enough of talking about SmackDown. You know, there wasn't like a huge problem with the show. It wasn't great. Oh, you know, I got so carried away I didn't even mention one of the best parts of it. Did I even write it down? No, I forgot to write it down even. The Breeze Dongo segment. It was entertaining, and it seems like they're going to go. When he was talking about the space rock, you know, I was really laughing at that part. The Ascension returning the pie. I enjoy and appreciate that kind of humor. I'm sorry, I just got so worked up about Keller, I completely forgot about that. I like rushed writing down the matches and, you know, whatever, but that was enjoyable. They're going to return to the tag team scene. You know, these guys are so charismatic. I hope they do something with them. I hope it's not like they just bring them back, make them go for the titles, and then quickly forgotten about after that. After what they did in these segments, they deserve a lot more because they were the most entertaining things on this show once again. So there you go, motherfuckers. There's a review. This has been your YWC champ. Signing out.